Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. We will start with the New Orleans Saints, as the Saints got a nice road win yesterday against Indianapolis. I picked them to lose back on Thursday. I just have lost my trust in this team and did not have any anticipation that they would play great offensively, and they did play pretty damn good on offense, and the defense certainly did enough to get the Saints home, so they even their record at 4-4. I thought it was a really nice win from a performance stand. I don't think Indianapolis is great, and certainly Richardson's out, and they've got Minshew. Not a great team, but it's a road game in the NFL, and the Saints went on the road and played well. 511 yards of offense for the Saints, 350 passing yards, and 161 on the ground. The Saints averaged 4.5 yards per carry. They ran for 10 first downs and threw for 12. They were balanced from that perspective. They were 6 out of 12 on third down for 50%. And I thought they were good in the red zone, and I thought that started with something that I've kind of been banging the table on. Let Taysom Hill play in the red zone. Derek Carr stinks in the red zone. We've seen that in Oakland. We've seen that in Las Vegas. We've seen it in New Orleans. Taysom Hill, really good in the red zone. And Taysom Hill was good in the red zone in this game. They showed the ability to run power, showed some different formations, getting defensive linemen in the backfield, running the football a little bit. And I thought Taysom was really good. And then, you've got Rashid Shaheed, who's just making big-time plays week after week after week. The biggest play in this game, obviously, 3rd and 13 on the Saints' own 30-yard line with 3 minutes to go in the game and an 8-point lead. And on 3rd and 13, the Saints don't play conservative and do a little draw play. They don't play conservative and try to bust a screen. They try to go get the 13 yards, and they hit Shaheed for 51 yards to kind of put the game on ice. I thought that was great coaching. I thought that was great execution by the players. I've been very hard on everybody involved in this entire situation. I thought that was really good, and I thought the Saints were really good yesterday. Dennis Allen spoke with the media after the game and talked about how exciting this was on offense.
Real excited, real happy about it. I've been saying, that I felt like we were close and we were doing some good things. I think it's the third time since 2018 that Saints offense has had 3 games of over 400 yards, So there's been good things that we've done. We just hadn't been able to capitalize on all those things. Obviously, we were much better in the red zone, in this game. And that, when you're scoring touchdowns in the red area instead of kicking field goals, that usually puts your points up there a lot more. So I thought we had some good explosive plays. I thought we ran the ball effectively. So there was a lot of things to like with what we did offensively. And yet I think there were still some plays out there. So, there's always things that you can get better at.
It just looked different, right? It looked different. They did some different things. They didn't just rely on the easy little fades that they've been running for 2 months that don't work more often than not. They did some things different. They did some things formationally. They obviously did things with personnel in terms of Taysom Hill, and it was just far, far, far more effective. I thought that the Saints were basically in an offensive rhythm the entirety of the game. You scored 21 points in the first half. You scored 17 points in the second half. There was never a significant lull, I didn't think. And then you leaned on your defense at the end, and they did enough to get you some stops. It was great from my perspective to see Isaiah Foskey get back there and make a play. Obviously, that play got overturned, but it was an incomplete pass. But he's back there, making some things happen. When Granderson goes out of the game, that's a big blow because he's been maybe the best defensive player for the Saints this year. I mean, DeMario's been very, very good when he's out there, and I think. For me, I think Granderson's probably been your best defender, and when he goes down, you got to have some guys step up, and I thought Foskey did a pretty good job. Look, again, like I said at the top here, like Gardner Minshew and the Indianapolis Colts are not a great football team. That's not anybody's contention here. They're 1-4 at home at this point, and they're 3-5 on the season. But they did play very well offensively last week. They're a really good running football team with Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss. And I thought the Saints did a really good job after the first quarter on Jonathan Taylor. He had 8 rushing yards after the first quarter. And Moss never got really cooking either. I mean, he had the one long one, 41 yards, and Taylor had a long one for 42. So you'd like to clean up that side of things. But for the most part, the Colts, who are one of the better running teams in the NFL, didn't do much running the football. And that's a really good place to start. And then you can pin it on Gardner Minshew, and he's pretty average dude. That's an average dude, probably a little below average. Minshew finished the game 23 of 41 for 213 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Dennis Allen said today when he met with the media, which was like 20 minutes ago, that he thought Paulson Adebo played his best game of the season in this game. And look, for me, this is a nice win. Does it change everything that I've been saying for 3 weeks? My feelings on it? No. Do I love Derek Carr? No. Do I think Dennis Allen's doing an awesome job? No. Do I think Pete Carmichael's doing a great job? No. I almost, I don't even have much emotional investment in the Saints winning or losing. I would prefer if they win, but it's nowhere near how I feel like when LSU's playing or whatever. When they had been establishing a solid running game, the Saints had, and they got Taysom Hill dropping back, trying to throw 50-yard bombs to Rashid Shaheed, I wanted to break my control, like my remote control. Pete, you're running the football. Give the ball to Alvin Kamara and hammer it away. Don't have Taysom Hill chucking up ducks, which they did, and it looked like it was intercepted, but it was simultaneous possession, and actually the play worked, but it just was like, don't do that. I still don't love that either. And I don't love like kind of the full-scale direction of this organization. I don't. But the things that we knew in August are still true as we're about to turn to November. This division still stinks. Atlanta's 4-4. They have no idea what they're doing at quarterback. The Bucs are 3-4. They're not any good. Carolina got a win on Sunday, but they're still a 1-6 football team that stinks. And so here you look up and the Saints are 4-4. And is it the most beautiful work of art you've ever seen through 8 weeks of football? No, it's far from that. But the exact same thing we talked about in August is still true. You got a bad division. You're a pretty average football team. And we'll see if you can come out on the right end of enough one-score games to get into a playoff situation. I'll need to see this offense continue to look like that 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row before I'm ready to say, okay, they may have found something. But for Sunday, job well done. You go on the road to Indianapolis, take on a team with a backup quarterback, and you do enough to get things done. I was most encouraged by the fact that it just looked different. They did some different things. They didn't continue to lean on the same garbage in the red zone that they've been throwing out there for 8 games. They changed some things up. They used Taysom Hill more often. They scrapped the fades, and they were more effective. And I think that's something they really, really need to look into. You've got this weapon that no one else in the league has in Taysom Hill. Go ahead and use him. And they ran him 9 times in the game. He did throw the 2 passes. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. That's effective. Use it until somebody stops it. Do that until somebody stops it. So now the Saints look forward to a home game against the Chicago Bears. I will tell y'all, I listened to a little Bears recap podcast this morning from the Barstool guys, who I follow for their Cubs stuff. They're already talking about blowing up the entire organization. They think Fields is terrible. They thought this backup quarterback Badgett was good for 1 week, and then he stunk last night against the Chargers. They don't like the GM. They're in a bad way on the midway at this point. The Bears are a terrible football team that was embarrassed in front of the country last night. That is a game you should win. Win that game, you're above 500, and that's kind of where we're headed with this thing, right? As long as the Saints can get to 9 wins, you're probably gonna be right there to win the division. I feel like I'm flip-flopping back and forth going, hey, I'm calling out the entire organization, saying to fire the coach and the offensive coordinator, and if the quarterback's not any good, and you're kind of stuck, and you're 3 years from being able to fix this thing. And I said all those things. In 3.5 hours on Sunday doesn't change all that. But your situation's still okay because your division's so bad. Same thing we've been saying for 2 years. But you got a nice win. 38-27 was the final in that one up in Indy. So the Saints will focus their attention on the Bears. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.